Welcome, Eloise, and thank you very much for joining us. It's really nice to have you here today. You have such a diverse background, as I'm sure our readers will read in your bio. So tell us a little bit about how you put that to good use in your writing.
Well, I was thinking what an interesting question this is because I think you mean I have a very varied professional life by asking that. And I have always, throughout my varied professional life,
Yeah.
I've always been involved in telling stories
Mhm.
in one way or another. Um, and all of that has led to where I am now.
Mhm.
I think if I had have stayed in my sort of pinnacle of my career as working at the ABC,
Mhm.
the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, I think I still would be here today as a fiction writer and somebody who's wanting to get her first novel out into the world. Um, I taught English and drama in high school for a
Mhm.
while because I love literature, I love storytelling. The ABC is all about telling the stories of Australia, about
Mhm.
reflecting them, about shaping them, about
Perfect. Yeah.
guiding them. And then I taught, unusually, there's a bit of a swerve, I taught science, I taught astronomy
Yes.
in a traveling planetarium. And to me, that was about um, it's a bit of a cliche, but the universe opened up to me when I learnt about astronomy and I learned about the universe. And I
Mhm.
realized, one, that I could do something that I'd never done before.
Mhm.
I could learn astronomy.
Yeah.
I could write a novel, but I also loved the star stories and the cultural stories from all around the world. And I would teach constellation stories and I'd rewrite them and I'd reframe them. And
Lovely.
so that is part of being a storyteller. And then I worked for a international organization in Washington, D.C. as
Yes.
a executive assistant.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I think that's because I have really, really excellent administrative skills. And they
Unfortunately.
use them to the utmost, but I think that that also helped to lead me to where I am today
Okay.
because I was working in a really competitive environment, and I realized at that point that all the self-doubt that I'd had about being a writer
Yeah.
um, wasn't really valid, that I could do anything that I set my mind to. And
Yeah.
so it was when I was there that I decided that I would become a writer.
Mhm.
But everything that I've done has also been about human connection and
Mhm.
storytelling, as I said. Um, Diversity also in that I've lived overseas a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm living in Barbados now.
Mhm.
And thankfully, for the first time in my life, I'm not bringing up my young children. They're young men now.
Mhm.
I'm not working full time.
Yeah.
And so I've got the time to put my head down.
Yeah.
But there's this great Richard Russo essay called Location, Location, Location. And
Love.
he talks about the necessity of geographical distance.
Mhm.
And I think that I have that geographical distance so that I can write my stories that are set in Australia, that
Mhm.
I am not looking out the window and trying to describe exactly what I see.
That's
And
interesting.
that's where you find the, as Russo says, like the inner heart of the
Mhm.
story. And I think that that really, really helps. I also think that it helps just keep curiosity alive, which is so important for writers. You have to have curiosity, you have to be observant, you have to be taking in your surroundings, and you're looking at human connections, in all different cultures. And you realize that we all have the same sort of, needs and desires and foibles and failures and so on. But there's one more element to this that I don't know if you were referring to that, but when you talk about diversity,
Mhm.
my cultural heritage is really
Okay.
important to my
Yeah.
story,
Perfect.
to my writing.
Mhm.
My mum was an immigrant. She's French Vietnamese, and
Okay.
I know that her story is really, really important to who I am as a writer because
That's
she
lovely.
came from a place where there was a lot of, there was war, there was trauma,
Mhm.
there was suicide, there was secrets, all these things that come up in my stories. But I think that I was always overtly, or she was always overtly and covertly sort of hinting at this incredible, complicated
Mhm.
backstory
Yeah.
that I think I'm working out in my writing. I think it's what drives a lot of my themes. And I still don't understand it, but that's why I write, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the heart of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's so interesting, and writing as a form of exploration in that way sounds brilliant. And there are so many,
Mm.
like you said, kind of professional and diverse and cultural experiences for you to draw on there. And it's delightful to hear you talk about them and how they influence your writing and how you're able to explore them in your writing. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much.